Okay, just putting together a few videos. Not much going on for the mineral streets today. Maybe in a little while. But I just want to show you guys what I'm doing for any of my subscribers that may be real people or even the agents that are following me around everywhere. They know what I'm doing. I've been telling them every step of the way. So I want to continue to do that. So I set these camcorders up a while back, 3, 4 weeks ago, something like that. After about a month and a half of realizing that they were tied into the computer system and the cameras on the house. So I figure if they're tied into the cameras on my girlfriend's house, then they're definitely going to be tied into the cameras at anyone else's house. They don't need any permission. They don't need anything. So I want to warn people that are out there, just average people. If you ever get followed like this and they ever start fucking with you like they're doing with me, you have to go back to the old school ways. You have to go back to this way. So I had 2 camcorders. Now I've got 4. And what I'm doing is I'm setting them up around the neighborhood. I'm setting them up on the corner of a little old lady's house who I take care of her trash for and stuff like that. She doesn't know that I got a camera in the boxes. I go and crush up her cardboard for her and try to help out. You know, she's an older woman and stuff. So she's in a really good place for me, and I'll try to explain why in a minute. But anyway, I got this one that I set up in the vehicle, right? And then I put out the bait vehicle, and then they drive by it. Now, the only reason I need them to go by this camera here is because they're going to delete my YouTube account. So for me to keep putting up evidence that I'm being tracked and followed, surveilled, whatever you want to call it. I call it harassment. I call it intimidation and harassment, but whatever you want to call it. So anyways, I had to go to this. I had to go back to the old days, school ways, because it's the only way. So now these tapes only run about an hour and a half, and of course they're not as easy and small and capable as the digital cameras. But I got to do what I got to do. So I started doing this 3 weeks before I let them know I was doing it, because I figured once I let them know I was doing it, they would not go in front of the cameras. They'd see the vehicle and they would turn around and go the other way like they do when they see me coming up the road or whatever. So I already have several of their vehicles on camera. Plus I went back and made videos of my YouTube channel and got videos of their vehicles, and uh, not too many faces except for in my memory bank in my own brain. Otherwise, it's hard to see through tinted windows, glare on glass, all that kind of shit. As a matter of fact, even in the vehicles where I'm putting these cameras up like this, I have 2 vehicles right now that I'm going back and forth with, and I'm parking them in different places because I want to know how far that goes. Are they using the VIN numbers of our vehicles? They are able to, it's not even a question to me anymore. They're definitely doing this. So with they have your VIN number. Every vehicle made after 2000, I believe, is what the year is. 2000 and newer vehicles all have a tracking chip in them. I don't give a fuck what vehicle, what country it was made in. They all have tracking chips, okay? So you may not think that you live in China, but it's much worse than what you think China's doing. This is way worse because it's us. All right. Um, so they can fuck us any way they want. They can, like I say about my YouTube channel, they take the fucking channel down. Then nobody's gonna be any the wiser, and we have to start all over again. Because I seem to be the only one that's out there that's showing you guys what it is I'm showing you. I'm the only one showing it to you in reality and not making a fucking game out of it and a joke out of it like everyone else does. All right, so now that I mentioned all that, I want to mention something about these cameras. So the cameras, this camera, there was 2 cameras here. One was aimed this way, going down the street that way, kind of covering the driveway, and it was covering the driveway. And then I had another one, you can see the hole right above it, that was covering the backyard. And of course they run off onto the street as well, right? And then I've got and this is at my girlfriend's house, and then I got one way back there on top of that shed. And I'll just let you know, that one in the shed, that one was covering my trash barrels, that other side of the house to the street. And the reason why I'm talking about, and then there's other ones too, but what I'm going to complain about is that they moved them. They moved them just the slightest bit. Like the day before they did the tipped over the trash and all that kind of shit. I did a video on that. So that was the big red truck. That was that 1.5, 2-ton big ass fucking truck that was parked up the street. So it was parked up the street that night. I've seen it other times too. It was parked there other times. I got it on camera. The truck's on camera. I got him after his shift when he was leaving. Anyways, they moved these fucking cameras around just a little bit, so you couldn't pick them up on the street, couldn't pick up the trash barrels on that one there. Then in the one in the front of the house, after the guy in the meat truck came that day, I realized that the guy in the meat truck only had to step away from the stoop of the house just a couple inches. And I also noticed that the camera had been moved on the house so that it was not picking up his vehicle on the street. So I had to go around and move all the cameras. Now we can blame that on wind or something like that, maybe. But they were all tight. Everything was tightened down, so there was no reason really for them to be moving around. So knowing that they're tapped into my cameras that are on houses that I actually have control of, like I can get to my girlfriend's house cameras, but I can't get to all the other neighbors in the neighborhood's cameras, not without causing suspicion, acting like a weirdo or anything like that. So what I did last night is I went around and looked for everybody who had the infrared cameras. Some of them have a flashing white light. They don't all have a steady red light. Some of them work on a flash, so they're only taking a picture every couple seconds or whatever, you know. They probably bounces around the house, and each time the light lights up, so it's a blinking light rather than a steady light. So it has to have an infrared in it, otherwise it'd be useless to even be flashing in the first place. In other words, you would just be advertising to people, to bad burglars or whoever you think you might be worried about. And I don't think you got to worry about burglars. I think it's much deeper than that. And it's not an opinion. I'm proving it every fucking day that I'm doing this. I'm watching these fuckers. So anyways, I was suspicious about the camera down on the pole down here. That was up on the pole, because we've seen the Verizon worker, the Verizon pole worker who does not do any Verizon work on the poles is very strange to me. So anyways, I've got this one. This is another camera that's in here. I'm just going to add it with the boxes at the little old lady's house down the street, and I'm going to put this on the corner. And the reason is I'm going to have to show you. I have to take a little ride and show you guys this, because it's very interesting, and everybody should be aware of how this is all working, you know. But anyways, I just put this with the rest of the trash boxes on her porch, aim it out the window. Nobody's the wiser. I got access to it anytime I want, so I can go down there and change the tape and stuff, you know. Because like I said, the tape, but I got a whole box full of tapes in here and everything, so I just go down. If I don't get nothing on the tapes at the end of the day, I just rewind them and reuse them. It's no big deal. And then if I get something good, I tear the tab on the tape, just like the old days, you know. So let's take a little ride. Hold on. Okay, so before I set this up, I just want to show you how simple this is. Just a camcorder inside of a box. I got some extra shit in there. Aim it out the front. Nobody's the wiser, except for the people that I'm telling this to in the first place. And they cannot help themselves. They cannot help themselves. They keep going by the camera all the time, and they keep putting themselves on camera. So I got 4 of these all together. I got 4 camcorders, so I can camouflage them at different houses and set them up in the vehicles and all that shit, and I can keep getting these guys on camera, tracking me, following me, intimidating me, harassing me. Okay. So I wanted to just explain how this is working out. So anytime that I leave my girlfriend's house, my friend's house, my family's homes, my family lives in the neighborhood, whoever, friends, family, girlfriends, children, you name it. So I'm saying, okay, get down here, and assuming that they're tracking my cell phones, right? So on days when I shut both my cell phones off, I want to know how the hell they get me and how they know to be there. You know, how do they know to be at the other end of this trail? So I come down to the street. So last night, what I did was I scouted the entire neighborhood, especially around here, because there's the pole. There's the pole in question, is right there. Let's see if I can zoom in out a little bit. Yeah. So that telephone pole right there, that's the Verizon pole that the dude was on a few weeks back. And what I believe happened is, if you look around here, there are no homes to use their internet service to use the cameras on everybody's homes. But if they have control, which they do, they have control of the internet. So anybody in my neighborhood who has cameras doesn't mean that they're wittingly doing this on purpose. They're not giving anyone permission to do this. They just take it upon themselves, and it's very easy to do. You can tap into anybody's camera system. We all can, actually. Legally, maybe not, but it doesn't seem like they're following any laws because they're doing it. So, anyways, what I figured was they had no choice but to put something up on the pole. Because I'm thinking, why waste their time putting cameras up on the poles? And there's another pole behind me that I'm not aimed at right now, but I just thought it was really strange. So I'm thinking, okay, well, why would you put something up on the pole if it seems pretty clear that they have access to all the home cameras, all the cameras on everyone's houses? So why bother putting something up on the pole if they have a clip? Because there's no houses down here. There's no homes down this way. So there's nowhere to put a camera. So in other words, if I went out the back way, of where my kids live, then there is no cameras over there for them to get me on, to find out which way did I go. Did I go north, south, east, or west? Am I on bike? Am I in a car? Am I on foot? All that kind of shit, right? They want to know. Why do they want to know? Because when they get to the other side here, that's called intimidation. Every time I go out, I'm crossing paths with one of these investigators. They're from 3 different branches. I keep explaining. These are 3 different agencies, I guess I'll just call them. So I started going around back here. I'll show you up the hill here a little bit. Hold on. Okay. So I started going in the back along the trail, and I'm finding everyone that has cameras aimed at the trail. And I actually have 3 neighbors on the opposite side of where my kids live that all have cameras on the trail. Cameras that I should point out that I do not have access to. Even though I'm friendly with these neighbors, we're not real close or anything like that. So I can't go over there and have to think I'm a fucking weirdo, you know? Hey, can I check your videos? Just like my friends do. I mean, my buddy up the street, Ray, and my other friend at the corner. And then now I got this lady right here on the corner who I take her trash out for. If I told her that I was putting a camcorder in the boxes when I'm doing her trash and stuff, she'd think I was a weirdo. So I don't do it. I just keep my mouth shut. So, anyways, I'm kind of waiting to see if anybody comes down the street right now because I do have both phones on, and I already just went and I've got 2 of them set up now. I got one in the car set up, and then I've got the one over here set up, camcorders. So I have to go back in a couple hours, change the tape, and do that kind of stuff. So it's kind of a pain in the ass, but at least I'll have something in my hands, and I'm not going to keep them anywhere that they know. I'm not going to allow them to track me to where I'm hiding these tapes, because these tapes are going to be the only evidence I have when this all does go to court, that how bad they've harassed me. And also how bad they've harassed me for the last 10 fucking years, but how bad it's gotten in the last 2 to 6 months. I've only been on them for 2-3 months being this bad, but I have a feeling that it was bad before I even realized it. I got a feeling that I just was not paying enough attention. I was doing other shit. I was showing you the system. I was trying to show everybody the true creator. So, anyways, some videos that got deleted on me. and I just want to go over these again because they got deleted on me before. All right, so right here in this area right here. So one night I came by here, and in one video that did make it was in the snow. So they came back here and they parked way the fuck back here because watch, say you're watching this road and you're gonna see what's going on, but they can watch it on the camera. They don't have to stand here like I do like this and aim the camera up the street, right? Because they got camera access to all the fucking cameras in this neighborhood because they're the internet, they're the government, they're the feds, they're the CIA, they're the fucking scum that are fucking doing this shit, right? So anyways, when I noticed the tracks back here, there were truck tires on the second day. The first day in the snow, it was SUV tracks. You could tell by the tires they were not as aggressive. The larger tire vehicle was the next day in the mud, and I came down here, and when I saw it in the mud, I was like, oh shit, this is new, because the ones that were in the snow, you know, you still see little remnants of this one right here. See? I'll try to do this. By the way, I could collect all the imagery out of this, and I probably will. I'll do digital collection of electromagnetic nanocarbon from the fucking investigators' tire tracks. Okay? I will do that just to make some fun out of this videos, just so I can do something with them instead of just wasting my time. So what I did last night, let me finish this part. So I came down and I realized, oh shit, so okay, so that's one night in the snow, they parked back here, way to hell back here. Now, no neighbors parked back here. This is a walking trail. Unless it's a daytime thing where it's the city or the town or something like that, parking back here, okay, then you could see it because they're working on the trail or they're doing something or some shit like that. But there's no reason for anyone to park back there. Why? Because there's a paved parking area there. There's another paved parking area there that if you wanted to pull off, you wouldn't pull off into the fucking snow or mud unless you didn't want to be seen. So what I noticed was that this is one of their hiding places. So they can't see me from here, right? So if I go over here and I go right where their car was parked, they'd have to stay right around here in order to see me coming down the street, and they'd have to have a decent camera in order to see me coming down the street. So again, if they're tracking my phones and my phones are shut off and the camera's shut off, I'm thinking, okay, this is what they're up to. They're not just tapped into my cameras on my houses that I have, right? Because there's 3 of them that I have on this street, on this whole entire cul-de-sac. One when you first drive down the main road, another one about a half a mile down the road, and then another one on my kid's house, right? So those are the 3 that I have access to. So once I realized that they were watching my cameras, which is kind of fucky, you know, but that's the way it goes. So last night I rode around and I looked for all the infrared cameras around the neighborhood, and I found a lot of them. There are a lot of them. So they can watch me from any one of these homes around here. They just simply tap into the camera system of whoever's home by internet, you know, because they're all internet capable cameras and all that kind of shit, because people like to talk to their delivery person from work and all that kind of stupid shit, and they want to see who's at their front door so they can talk to them at their front door and everything. But see, there's no more homes around here. I actually have another friend who lives down at the end of that road, but there's too much woods in order to get through that way. And I do monitor way down the end too, with cameras as well, but I don't ever catch anyone parking down there. They always park in here. I don't ever catch them parking down there because there are a couple good spots to go hide out down at the end of the street. But for some reason they prefer this area. Maybe it's easier to pull in and out of. It doesn't look as suspicious. And also, my friend that lives there would probably call the cops on him because that's private property down there and they're not supposed to be parking down there anyway. I'm kind of surprised that none of them are coming down yet, because it's been about 5-10 minutes I've been down here, and usually I'm already seeing them. All right, so back to the story. Here comes someone, so I'm gonna pause it for a minute, and then I'll go back to it. Okay, so this neighbor here has cameras. That neighbor there has cameras. That neighbor there has cameras. They're facing forward and backward. Because the reason why that's important to know is because how do they know? I wanted to know. How do they know which way I'm going when I come down the street? Okay, I'll aim the bike this way. Okay, so when I go this way, I get the white SUV most of the time on that street. There have been others, but I would say at least 15, 20 different times. As soon as I get to the end of this trail, if you go back and watch these videos that I've been making on these guys, go back to the day that I was watching the chickens. I was driving along, riding the bike along, and shooting the shit about something, and all of a sudden the chickens were all on the trail. So it was nice. I thought that it was pretty to see the chickens. They wouldn't let me have chickens. They fucking, that's another story. But anyways, so I just like seeing the chickens. So I stopped and watched the chickens, and I saw all of a sudden, boom, the fucking white SUV, the Ford Explorer drove by. So I got suspicious. I said, fuck it, let's check him out. I went up the street. Sure enough, he's parked on the side of the road for absolutely no reason, doesn't get out of his vehicle, sees me getting up the back of his license plate, and he decides to turn around and leave. So it's a dead-end street. You can't get out of it. You have to turn around and come back. So he was forced to come back by me. Otherwise, he would have just left directly straight out because he knew I was going to get his face on camera that day. So I only get them on camera, all these guys, 1% of the time that I see them. I don't always have a camera going. I don't always have a camera on me, especially if I'm trying to lose them. If I'm trying to lose their trail, then I'll do that. So anyways, my question to myself was, okay, so if I head down here, I get the white truck. If I go that way down the trail, it's not the white truck. It depends on which cross street, because these trails keep crossing different streets. So I said to myself, how do they know? How do they fucking know which way I'm going? There's no cameras obviously around here. And the old lady lives right there on the corner that I'm talking about, that I'm putting setting my cameras up. She does not have a home camera system. She does, but it only is really in the inside of her house, and it only covers her door. So anyways, so I'm saying to myself, so how do they fucking know to be there that fast, right? Because it only takes me 5 minutes to get up to this other road behind me, and it takes me 5 minutes to get the other way. And why is it two different vehicles? I mean, this is very expensive. And it's two different agencies. So for some reason, they're working together, these two agencies. And when I go down that road, when I get to the end of that road, there's also a lot of cameras. There's a lot of cameras. A town police officer lives at the end of that trail right there when I go that way. Actually, there's another officer that lives the opposite way, this way too. There's state police officers that live in town that also live off these trails. So they all have cameras. But yeah, I don't, that dude's acting suspicious too. There's a good dude that was just walking down there, and he's acting kind of suspicious to me, in my opinion. Because the trail that he just took doesn't go anywhere except private property. And I know he doesn't belong on those private properties because I know everyone that lives down that trail. So I'm wondering what the fuck he's doing. So I'm probably going to have to take a ride and go see. That was just some young guy, maybe 28, 30 something, walking down the trail. Strangely enough, with a Target bag. He's got a bag from Target on him that he's carrying. But the funny thing is, there's no Target around here. There's a Walmart and a Lowe's, but there's no Target. So it's kind of strange that he's got a Target bag. But anyways, I'm going to go down there and see what he's up to in a minute if he don't come up. Maybe he just went over to take a piss or something. So anyways, so I started asking myself these questions. I'm like, well, how the hell are they doing this? Yeah, okay, so they're tracking my phones. Gotcha. So I shut the phone and the digital cameras off, and I go over to camcorder with no phone, and let's see if they follow me. Yes, they're still following me. Okay, so maybe they're tracking the vehicles then. Maybe they're using the VIN numbers, and they use the tracking device that are in all fucking vehicles, all phones, all cell phones. This is bad, man. This is really, really bad. And the worst part about it is you're all remaining in your comatose fucking states, and none of you are paying attention. It's much, much bigger, worse than you claim it is. So anyways, yeah, I'm gonna have to go check that dude out. I wanna go see what the fuck he was doing. I hope that's a pole truck. I hear a truck backing up. I hope it's the pole truck. If it is, I'm gonna pop out of the woods on him and see what the hell he's up to. So as I keep starting to say, as I went around last night, even the night vision cameras catch all the activity that's going on around there. So that's my, it's not even a theory. It's just the way it is. It's a given, really, as far as I'm concerned. It's the only way they could possibly do this. And so what I started doing now, and I know they're watching these videos, so believe me, everything that I'm telling you, my subscribers, majority of my subscribers are these Asians. So I know that they follow it all. But what am I going to do? There's nothing I can do about it, you know? So all I can do is just don't say anything threatening. Don't say don't act too angry, because then they'll try to say that I'm inciting violence, all that kind of shit, you know. So what I started doing next is I started coming down these trails, because there's trails all over the place down here. So start coming in and out of these trails, right? So I wanted to know, are they going to follow me? Can they get me? And no, they actually can't. The cameras that are up there on the hill and those back of those homes, they don't reach down here to this bottom trail. So if I don't have my phone with me and I don't have nothing with me and I go out the back door and I came down the street, they were not getting me on camera and they would lose track of me. That's why they had to put the cameras on the telephone poles. Otherwise, they would not have to. There's enough homes in the neighborhood with cameras on them. All they got to do is tap into those cameras. And then the people who own those cameras in those homes, they're none the wiser. They don't fucking care. It's zombies, man. Fucking surrounded by them. So, nothing I can do about that. So, anyways, I'm not going all the way down the trail right now. Anyways, I want to finish talking about this. So, what I did last night was I came down all these trails. I looked up at the homes to see where were there any lights anywhere. Camera lights. I'm looking for a little, I was looking for red infrared. So this is new to me, to see flashing blue light, flashing white light in order to use night cameras. There must be infrared lighting inside those blue lights, I'm guessing. Has to be, because otherwise they wouldn't be able to pick me up at night. Because at nighttime, it's the same shit. Okay, I'm coming back out here because I want to see if this guy shows up. I don't see him. Yeah, there's one coming down the hill right now, so we're gonna see. See if it's one of my guys or not. Is that the red car with the Trump thing in the back? Not sure. I'm not sure. That could be one of the investigators. The little red car could be too. if that's the red car with the Trump sign in the back, I wonder. But like I said, I've been out here now about 20-25 minutes. I let all the cameras in the neighborhood pick me up so I can see what they're all up to. Gonna hand me down a little bit so I can I'll pick it back up if it ends up being him. And what I'm doing is I'm watching over on the other street to see if he just goes all the way around or not. I was watching some of the videos back yesterday at the cloud level, and when you turn your camera sideways, you always have to remember the true creator doesn't see things as up, down, left, right, backward, forward. So take it upon yourself to spin your camera around and do 360s with it, and maybe it'll be easier for you, because we see everything as humans. We see everything as up, down, left, right, backward, forward, in and out. True creator doesn't see it that way. Those are low. Alright, I'm gonna go check my other cameras down the street. I'll be right back. that way. So perfect. I'll just leave that right about there. Okay, so I started trailing, as you can hear. Okay, I'm gonna shut this thing off now and take it with me down to check the other vehicles that have the cameras in them, and I have to shut it off in order to do that. Otherwise, I don't really know what's going on. I can't really track them that good when there's something, you know. In other words, I won't be able to know for sure if they're tracking the vehicle or are they tracking the phones if I keep the phones turned on when I go. So, yeah, just gonna let me go do that now. I'll be back.